Hello to everybody. Hello, Professor Gvansa. It's a pleasure and it's a great privilege to be today presenting the really big theme. I would say a really big theme because in Kosovo, Albania, and in all of Albanian regions, it was a very lack of study in this aspect, in this theme. So it's a great pleasure to present to you about the mandolin family use in Albanian tradition and more exactly in our city, Gjakova. This project is worked by me, Edri Stavileci, and Professor Dr. Ethnomusicologist Krenar Doli. I will be presenting it to you today, but the work is from both of us. The project content, we're going to start with an introduction for the presentation. We're going to see how it arrived into the Albanian regions, the mandolin, how it arrived, how the mandolin arrived at Jakova, and all the societies and the bands that did form, and how it did gain that much popularity. So it's really, really interesting that for what a short period it was to for an instrument to get that famous. So we're gonna see and who played and who is playing it now. For an introduction, we're gonna start in the 1920s or maybe earlier. It isn't known for sure, but of course it was earlier, but for just to be sure, we will take 1920s for a period that is more exact in general. So the 1920s are a period that the Albanians were ruled by Ahmet Zogu. He was first a minister, then he became a president, then he self-proclaimed himself as a king. So we will say the aim was just to bring a Western spirit to this country, to Albania, because Albania was really oriental because of the occupation. We're uh, we're gonna see that how much the Ahmet Zogu regime bring the Western spirit in Albania and the mandolin with it. The mandolin came to Albania, and when it came, it was started to be played in orchestras, in folk music, otherwise known as aheng, and we will find it in the rural folklore. We can see a photo of Mikhail Kolishi playing mandolin with his friends. So we are seeing here a time of war. This photo is beside two wars, World War One and World War Two. We don't know the exact year of the photo, but it's from that period of time. Mikhail Kolishi was a priest, a really great patriot of the nation, and from Papa John Pauli, he was proclaimed as cardinal. So that's how fast mandolin spread into normal people. Mandolin is believed that came in three forms in Albania through trade, schools, and occupations. We will talk about each of them. Through trade, we will say that it came from from trading people that came to Albania, and when we went somewhere. So that's how the mandolin came to us, and it started in the coast of Albania because of the ships then it gets more inside the country. Through schools, the opening of the educational institutions of higher and Western oriented education had a very big influence in the mandolin, because in schools we're going to see that mandolin became an obligation of learning, even though it wasn't a musical school. So musical schools had mandolin an obligation also. But even the schools that didn't that weren't for music, they had a mandolin obligation, as the normal school of Elbasan. Likewise, occupations such as Austro-Hungarian and Italian ones naturally had a significant impact on bringing the mandolin to Albanian lands. Of course, occupations, but the Austro-Hungarian had a little bit more effect. Also, the Italian one, because the origin of the mandolin we know is from Italia, and that's how mandolin came to Kosovo is the same as it came to Albania, through trade, schools, occupations. That's the same. Here you can see a mandolin that came from Austro-Hungarian people that were in our regions for the time of occupation. The arrival of mandolin in Gjakova also has theories. One theory says that the Catholic families of the city, because Gjakova is Muslim, 90% Muslim city, the minor Catholic families were very rich families, and they worked in the Croatian, mostly on Croatian coast, but on Croatia in general, they had silversmith businesses, and they were really rich. They bring the mandolin to our region in Jahova, and that's how it spread it to us. This is only one theory. The other theory is in the 40s, the normal school of Jakova that opened from firstly from the Albanian regime during the Italian occupation. But Gjakova deeply adapted the mandolin in its aheng, or in its traditional, I would say traditional parties. So weddings and everything else. We will see that mandolin is going to be in concerts, on school, and everything, everything, everything. Everyone played mandolin. This is one of the first societies that had mandolins, and they had pretty much mandolins. Here we can see only two in the photo. It's called Gaireti. It means society, cultural and artistic. Gaireti. That's SHK and A. Garrity means so you should be patient. It's a period of the 30s, it's occupation. We need to be patient because it's going to be great. And that's the name of the society. So here we can see mandolins, but mandolins here were not played exactly like in other countries. So the mandolins were played more oriental, more like the aheng of the city. Aheng is a form of some songs that were played together one after another, but it's a lineup that shouldn't change, and it was perfected for centuries. So mandolin here had another form of playing, but it also had some epic songs, love songs. So we will discuss them. Bayram Tsuri is the name of a national hero. Now we are under Yugoslavia. Jakova is under Yugoslavia. And here it was like a trend to have a name of a hero on the band. So this is one of the first band of the city. And here we can see three mandolins. Then after there are some photos that are showing more mandolins, but this is a pretty nice photo. This band gained some other members later and was named Haydardushi, another hero name. So after the 60s, it became pretty, the mandolin became even more famous, so every band had mandolins. We're talking about a city with 40,000 people. It's a really small city, but everybody had the enthusiasm to play the mandolin. Everybody have touched the mandolin. The inclusion of the mandolin in the Umariza society. Firstly, we need to know who is Umariza. Umariza was a traditional player of Sharkia in Gjakova, but the period of when Umariza played, there were no mandolins, mandolas, or mandocellos, anything. So when the mandolin came, from an interview that I had with an former Umariza member, he told me that when the mandola came, as he's been told, that when the mandola came, they didn't know how it was tuned or anything. So they tried to do something. They tuned it right, as he told me, but then they didn't know how to play it. So they started learning a bit with each other. And from the 50s, the mandola was a part of the orchestra. The orchestra didn't go anywhere without mandola. So that's how near it became with the most characteristic band as band society of the city. Here we can see photos of mandola, so also the society, but here you can see the mandola, how it came. So we're talking about 30 years. It came to us in 1920s. Now it's spread it that much, so everybody knows what the mandolin is, knows something about it, and a lot of it know how to play it. The mandolin in the aheng. So here we have two photos that we can see people love the mandolins that much, so they can have a party or an aheng with just two mandolins. So that's interesting. No guitar, no deaf, no violin, just two mandolins. That's interesting. They tuned it right. They started to know how to play it because the schools did their job and the people had enthusiasm. Here we can see the fun that they were having. The second photo down, here is another aheng, and it's more the down one is more like a men's aheng. So drinking, having fun, discussion, and everything. The mandolin now it has become an aheng instrument. Mandolin activity in Normal School of Gjakova. In the 40s, the Normal School of Gjakova, in 43, the Normal School of Gjakova was opened and it had students. What is a normal school? A normal school is a school that when a student finishes the ninth grade, it gets to the normal school, and after he finishes it was just 5 years long. When he finished it, he could be a teacher or a professor for any degree. He could choose for what, because the level of teachers was very low, so we needed to do something fast to have an educational performance for the youth. And the normal school was that kind of school. Here we can see students that came here to become teachers, but they had an obligation to play the mandolin. And here is the first professor that had the degree. He studied not in Albania or Kosovo, somewhere else. And when he came here, he came as a professional teacher, and he was a teacher for like pretty much mandolinist, thousands. Here we can see in the photo a concert. Here is an orchestra with mandolins, mandolas, mandocello, guitars, and a double bass. And in the middle, is the lead, the first professor, Shevchet Kazazi. The second photo is in the 69 period. Here we can see Professor Muharrem, which will become a famous mandolinist in another band we will see. The orchestra is playing with again with mandolas, mandocello, mandolins, and this one it doesn't have the double bass, but it has guitars. And behind the orchestra is a choir. This the photo in the right is the Professor Muharrem. So the normal school every year gained more students, and all of them became mandolinists. Not knowing to play mandolin, you wouldn't finish the normal school. Other activities related to the normal school of Gjakova. So people were starting to organize some parties that they were called matinees, and the artistic matinees they were called. They did them with a lot of mandolins, playing with discs, and people would dance tango, salsa, rumba. So we are bringing the Western culture. We are bringing the Western culture for this fast period. It's really interesting. Here we can see the folk traditional group during an evening of the artistic matinee, dancing in dressed in traditional Albanian attire, Gjakova style that we call them dimina. So mandolin in concerts in Gjakova now every band has every society has the mandolin. Up we can see a school concert. Down we see the society Haydardushi in it starts, and we can see one, two, three mandolins. One in the back that we are not seeing here. And the one that are playing is Rasim Sana, that is a really great mandolinist, that was a great mandolinist of the time, and Mazlam Ezini, that was also known one of the greatest composers and singers of the city. To present the one up, they are the pianist and the mandolinist are son and father from Mecha family. Mandolins in the family life of Gjakova. We can also see some ahengs. So it was starting to be a new tradition of the Saturday evening night. They said the Saturday night. Everybody was getting ready for the Saturday night because one family would organize a musical evening that not with much food, not with much drinks, but just for having fun. Nobody was rich to give everybody what they want, but they just had fun. So we can see everybody singing, laughing, dancing. It's really interesting. And being poor, everyone is poor. A city with 40,000 people. Everybody is poor. It's just the fun to play mandolin and the other instruments, but the mandolin is the top instrument of the time. Now we have a serenade band called Scoffiard. They were formed in 1983 and they started playing serenades. The years that followed during a concert, we can see how Western we've become. It's really beautiful. Having two, three mandolins. Scoffiard made a revolution in the music of Gjakova because they made serenades for the first time in Kosovo. In Kosovo, serenades weren't known yet. Only Albania had serenades. Kosovo, no. Kosovo was more oriental. They made a revolution. Now we have Ashikat. Ashikat are a band that from all the societies that were maybe 10 to 20 in our city, with each of them more than 30 members, that changed with the years. Ashika were some of them who were left. So everybody here is like a veteran. We have Javit Lota with violin. He's one of the oldest violinists that played maybe in all of the societies. We have Ismet Bitucci as a singer and mandolinist, one of the best that our city had. Mazlum Morina with guitar. Shafiq Palaska, the founder of the band. Misin Bakali with mandolin, again, and Barcheda with accordion. So the vocal instrumental ensemble Ashigat was founded in the period of 2000. They were really great. They are even active now. So the youth relation with the mandolin, we're gonna discuss it really shortly because I am also a part of it. So now the youth our city has now 40,000 people. The number hasn't changed, but the number of mandolinists is really low. So there are only 3, 4 mandolinists, and the three of them are in our band. I am one. My friend with the guitar also plays mandolin, and my friend with accordion plays mandolin. We have another friend that he is an enthusiast, but he doesn't play that much. So now the mandolin time, it's hard to say, but it's vanishing. It's our, we want something to achieve in the future. We want to return the mandolin because it's very sweet. It's a very soundful instrument. It's fun. It's interesting. It's one of the best things that was ever created. I hope I hope you liked the presentation. So this was something very fast. I couldn't present you too much. The techniques, the how did they learn? It's really, 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 really. Uh, if I'm gonna realize the book, if I'm going to release the book with the professor, it would be a pleasure that again in another meeting we will discuss something. We will discuss more longer. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. You can contact me on Facebook, Instagram, or anything you need to know more. Thank you very much.